Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. My name is Nnamdi Posi Uwala. I am the chief host of Hidden Fact podcast. And today is a very different segment, a very different day, a very different one. You can see how jittery I am because of the person that I have on set here today. Normally, here in this podcast, we often bring in people that we feel we have this, much needed, voice to that have something to say, whether controversial or not. But our guest today is different because I invited him not knowing that he's going to agree to be here today. He is someone that is very special to me. He is someone whose life is a very big story, and is also someone that without him I might not be here, today. He was the first step to my climbing, to becoming a man. And before I brought him here, I knew it might be an emotional conversation for me because he's someone that I so much love and appreciate that much. First of all, I'm going to allow him to introduce himself. And after the introduction, we will now go straight to the topics. So I want you to grab your seat and experience something different from what you have experienced before from Hidden Fact. This is going to be an eye-opening segment. Probably maybe an emotional one too, but just sit tight, watch, listen, be blessed, and learn. And we move straight to our sir and to introduce himself.
Thank you, Namdi. Thank you very much. My name is Dr. Emeka Enyinnaya. I'm from Olu Local Government, Imo State. Well, I don't know what to say, but I'm here today anyway.
Okay.
And thank you for inviting me to your studio. Thank you.
Thank you, and thank you for coming on our invitation. I would like to know a little bit about your upbringing. In any way you can just bring it in.
Well, my upbringing was fine. Well, by the standard of those days, my father and my mother were civil servants, and we grew up under the civil servant environment. So it was a beautiful childhood. We grew up, we did government environments, and I think it was wonderful. Went to the good schools, and then we came out fine. I attended Holy Rosary Primary School in Omuna, Olu. Then from there I went to Bishop Shanahan College, Olu. From Bishop Shanahan College, Olu, I went to University of Ife, where I read economics. After University of Ife, I went to Jos for my youth service, and I had my youth service at the College of Education for 1 year. Then I got admission to read my master's. So I had my master's in finance, money and finance from the University of Jos. Then I left Jos eventually in 1984, even as a graduate assistant. So after that, I went into banking. The first part of banking was I worked with the World Bank. I was a financial analyst with the World Bank. It was a World Bank project, industrial policy analysis. I was there for 3 years. Then after that, I went into mainstream banking. My first port of call was Nigeria Arab Bank. I was the special assistant to the managing director then, Chief Kingsley Ikbe. After that, I worked in different banks, but eventually I found myself in Citizens Bank. I was in Citizens Bank till about 96 when I joined Zenith Bank. So I was in Zenith Bank up to senior manager level before when a group of us came together and formed a bank. We were part of a new bank, which eventually came out. Initially, it was Almond Bank, then headed by Nick Operandu. Then after that, all of us merged and they came out as Assurance Bank, managed then by Chikambono. So we were there till 2005 when banks were consolidated, and I think that was the end of the bank then. We didn't go further beyond 2005. Since then, I think it's 2006, I joined politics. I contested then for House of Rep, primaries in PDP, but I didn't get it. Then I went back to my business. Then I was also running a microfinance bank. I was the managing director, CEO of Orbit Microfinance Bank and Omni Microfinance Bank. There are two then. So, but all of them went down by 2011. By 2012, I got appointment under PDP as a general manager in charge of audits at Nigerian Aviation Authority, Civil Aviation Authority. So I left there in 2015, and since then, I've faced my business and also part of politics in Imo State. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'm also made to understand that you have a title of Christianity on your name, like a reverend or
okay. I was one of the founding members of Ward-Based Assembly in Lagos.
Humphrey Rumaka.
Bishop Humphrey Rumaka. I was a deacon there. I grew up to become a pastor there, and I'm still a member of Ward-Based Assembly. Just that I'm not in Lagos, and there are not many of the branches are here. Although there's a branch, over here. Okay.
So how has it been in Ward-Based Assembly?
Well, Ward-Based Assembly was one of the most beautiful churches, we ever had. The founder and the senior pastor, Reverend Bishop Humphrey Rumaka, was a young man, and he had the word, he had the vision, and he had the people. So the church grew in a very short time, became the church in Okota, Lagos. So you can't come into Okota without talking about Ward-Based Assembly. So Ward-Based is the church in Okota up till now, I guess.
Okay, beautiful. While on getting to know more about you and your growth in life, I would also like to know, because of course this conversation we're having is more like a heart-to-heart conversation, because of course I know you. So my being in an interview, you have to indulge me by touching places that I know personally, things that I know personally. I'm meant to understand, I've been a witness of the kind of person that you are, being very kind, being giver. You are one of the most dangerous givers that I have known all my life. I have never seen anyone give like you do give. And I just wanted to know, do you have any regrets? Because of course, like I said, I have known so many things. I know so many things about you, and your life, and I also know, some stories behind you. You know how a lot of people have turned their back on you, and I just wanted to know: do you have any regrets in life when it comes to what you have done for people?
I don't think so, because giving is a character. It's part of you. And of course, if you are giving because you expect people you give to give back to you, then I think it's maybe a trap, or is it a business setup? But we are taught and we believe, and I believe, that giving is an act of worship to God. And when you give, you are giving worship to God. Why? Because all things, everything you have is from the Almighty. And there is nothing you have that God did not give you. So when you give to somebody else, you are simply fulfilling God's demand on you, that to whom much is given, much is expected. And one of the parameters, of course, if you want to look at one of the parameters of going to heaven, or that you use to differentiate people in heaven, is simply, I was hungry, you gave me to eat. I was naked, you clothed me. I was in prison, you came to visit me. And I was in distress, and you gave me help. Typified basically in the story of the Good Samaritan. That, when contrary to every other person, even those that are very high in church authority, and he was able to give a helping hand to somebody. And of course, we also know that giving is not just giving material things. The truth is that once you contact somebody, you must add value. And that value is what carries the person. Maybe a simple advice, a pat on the back, an encouragement here and there, and the person will move on. Of course, if you have the materials to support, you give him. Because somebody cannot be hungry and he says, okay, I pray for you, I'll go your way. When you must eat food first.
But as a human being, I would ask this: have you ever felt used in the process of giving?
Life is full of, call it ups and downs. Also call it, it's made up of different colors of people. Some people are appreciative. Some people are not appreciative. There's nothing you can do about it. Some people take what you give them as a right. Some see it as a privilege, while others even see it as an honor. So it depends on the kind of person you meet. And of course, if you encounter different kinds of people, if you now meet somebody who is not grateful or who is not appreciative, you kill yourself. You move on, knowing that it is not him that you are doing for, it's God that you are doing it for, not the person. So whether the person appreciates you or not, it doesn't really matter.
Okay, delving more into your life, from your growth, one would say a man who have once owned banks, owned lots of, been in collaboration with lots of banks, with people. Of course, we're talking about, a whole lot of money. What would you say? What is your life like today compared to that time?
Well, then, we were younger, and we had this zeal to do everything, even beyond the normal. We had this zeal to achieve, even right or wrong, So we just go out there to conquer. Now, but as you get older, you now discover that some of those things are no more motivating.
Yeah.
as you get older, you are interested in, just being comfortable, being quiet with yourself. You are concerned with having good health, wellness. You're concerned with maybe your relationship with the life after, because many of us have lived almost uh, maybe 60% of our lives. If we're going to live for 100 years, we live more than 60%. So you so many things that motivated you in the past are no more the same, and that's the way it is.
Okay, let's go into politics. Um, you mind telling us, like, in politics now, why was it a thing for you? Why did you join politics? For someone who have, you know, is it because of the family you came out from, or because you want to make a change or something?
Well, I would say in the first place, I came from a family of politicians. My father was a politician. My father was a councillor even before independence, and he was a councillor up to 1966 after the by the war, when the war broke out. So politics has always been there. In fact, after the war, they were the people that also galvanized NPP and the rest of them. So politics has always been there. My grandfather was a politician, and he was at least when we are talking of then, he was part of the Senate that take decisions within the society. So politics has always been there. But then, as a Christian, we know that when the righteous is in power, the people rejoice. So I see it from the point of view that there are certain values that you have that you want to bring in to the general political space. Those qualities include integrity, honesty, and not actually running with the wagon. What is grab that you have all over the place, fraud, all those kind of things. So we wanted to add value where politics will have a human face, where politics will look after the people, where politics will be focused on those things that will bring lasting values to the community, to the people that you represent. That's basically the motivation for politics. Just an extension of what you do in the house of God, to reach out to people, to make sure that people are comfortable, to make sure people are taken care of, especially those that are in need. And of course, in our political space today, a lot of things are lacking. Hospitals, good roads, good hospitals, good markets, and so many other things. So part of it is to come and see how you can contribute your own quota to better the society. That was basically the motivation.
Okay. Do you intend coming out for any political position?
Well, for now, I don't think so. For now, I don't think so.
In the future?
Well,
one can never
one
tell.
can never say.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're still on politics. I noticed through your social media platform that you started when the current government, Hope, Governor Hope, when he was coming out for governorship, you were the only one I saw on the social media space promoting him when he didn't even have any political presence in social media. Was it a decision you made by yourself, or was it about him or some friendship? You mind telling us the zeal, the reason behind that?
Well, it was basically first and foremost of friendship. I've known him for a long time, at least from about 2002, when he contested the first governorship election under AD. Now, when I joined politics in 2006, he was the person that brought me into politics. So since then, I've always been with him. And of course, by 2012, when I got appointment, he was principally behind it. He gave me that appointment. So both as friendship and as a duty, as a commitment to somebody who has been there for you. So I had to be there also for him. So through the thick and thin of Sheriff McAfee to APC to governorship to courts and eventually to declaration of him as a governor, we've been there.
Okay. Moving away from politics, I'll still come back to that. But moving away from politics, I wanted to know about the banking sector. Within the time you were in banking and now, what is different? Is it something that you felt if you were still in banking that you would have asked to be done differently from what is being done now?
No, the times have changed. Parameters also have changed. I mean, when we were in banking, for instance, online banking wasn't really, it wasn't the in thing. In fact, I remember those days, it was Citizens Bank that started online banking. We call it online real time then. But it wasn't really online real time. It was just a fact that, when you're in Aba, you want to withdraw, you need to confirm from somebody and, it wasn't really online real time, but it was just submanaged online. So, but eventually it spread to other banks. And today, I mean, you can stay 1 year or 2 years without entering the banking hall and do all your transactions. There are so many platforms you can do your banking. There are so many banks that you can open an account with that are not having any presence anywhere. They don't have physical presence, So most of them, you deal with them online, you deal with them, just by the touch of the knobs. That's it.
You said something about opening banks and then having it shut down. Do you think there is something you would have done differently that would have kept those banks going? Do you think where did you feel you made a mistake or you failed in that time? Is there something that you would say you would have done differently if it were to be now in order to keep holding on to what you had then in that bank?
Well, I wouldn't say, but in every relationship, whether personal or business, there was always a human factor. And that human factor could be positive, could be negative, or a combination of the two. So, but I believe strongly that one of the reasons why many banks then failed was because of the human factor. People wanted to own banks like my own. Others wanted to minimize others just to take control of everything. Meanwhile, those are places that you had your equal contributions and all, because you found yourself as a CEO, you want to manipulate others to take over. So the human factor of greed, always brought a lot of problems, and for many of the failed banks then, that was a major factor. And of course, outside that, the other ones are technical factors. Technical factors in Nigeria, I think we had this tendency to always do things not according to the books, giving out loans not according to the books, doing things or giving yourself loan, maybe taking loan from the back with your company and the rest of it. And at the end of the day, once you begin to do that, any bank will suffer because repayment becomes a problem. Look at today, the APCON has over how many trillion in unrecovered debts. So many of those debts are bad debts, because they were given to wrong people for wrong purposes and for different things altogether. So the human factor will always be there but those who were able to manage their human aspects of relationships got it right. They got it right. That's why if you look at GTB, for instance, they have been having good succession plan right from the word go. They were young boys. Access Bank is also having the same thing. They are young boys. But see, most of those banks that say, na me get them, na me get them, na me get them, many of them had to go. They had to go. Shonic Bank had to go, Intercontinental had to go. And so many of those banks that are, into the hands of those who think, oh, na me get them.
Okay. I want to go a bit personal, aside from bank. I want to talk about us. I believe we've known for so many years.
Yep.
And I would say you picked me up when it felt like I was rejected by the world, probably because of my stubbornness and my personality at that time. When people were actually not comfortable in dealing with me, you brought me in and you did my visa, paid my flight ticket, gave me money, and even gave me connections of people to meet. I just wanted to know today, because I know we've never had this kind of conversation before. What was the motive? What made you see something different in me that made you do these things for me?
It's a very complex question. Well, I think first and foremost, there was a relationship, a family relationship between your senior sister, between your brother-in-law, between your dad, between your brothers and the other sister. There was a family relationship. That's the principal one. Secondly, there was a spiritual fellowship. We belong to the same church. We were coming to the same church. Then the third one now was part of the thing we discussed before. When you see somebody do something, or we see somebody doing something, you need to find out the perspective that person is coming, or where the person is coming from. The thing in the society is that people judge. When they see you do anything, they judge you. Oh, he's bad. Oh, he's gone. But when you try to understand the different perspectives, now you begin to understand it better. If you understand a little bit of adolescent psychology, you know that every adolescent, including me, went through that process. The process of maybe you don't want to hear anybody, you do what you want to do, and most times what you want to do runs contrary to the grain of the society. So all you needed to is to redirect. When you redirect somebody, the person will find his feet. So the motivation there was simply, give this guy a chance. Let's see what will happen. And the opportunity came. The desire was that the opportunity came and the papers came out, and then you had to go. Today you are here. I think that's basically that.
And how did I turn out?
You are doing well. You are doing very, very well. I mean, your reach is awesome. I've watched your connections. Your reach is very awesome. Your skills, you hone your skills every day. In fact, I'm surprised at the skills you give out every time. I feel I learned, although I've not heard, but I learned that you are one of the few that speak Urdu. Is it Urdu?
Yeah.
Urdu is a Chinese language.
Yeah.
In fact, if there are 100 Nigerians in China, there are only 2 that speak that language, and he's one of them. So what does it tell you? It shows somebody who is very articulate. Because most people that know language are very intelligent people. So, and you can see it in his work. Look at this studio, very beautiful studio. You've written a book. You know, I'm still expecting a book on the adventures of the driver.
Yes.
I'm
done with it.
I'm still expecting, because that was a thriller then. Every day we look forward to reading something from
you follow
from
that,
the yes
okay.
from the what driver again? The Uber driver, right?
Yes.
So every day we are keyed into reading something new about, and then you open our eyes. His exposures open our eyes to the things, some of the traps, some of the evil things, and of course good things that come from that kind of profession. Most times you look down on so many of these people because you don't know what they pass through. But when you know that a young man who is into that business encounters all kinds of people, at times grows mature overnight because of his job. Because some irascible people will come to you, some humble people will come to you, some proud people will come to you, some troublesome people will come to you, and as a driver, you have to make sure you handle some of those things. So you learn. So that episode was wonderful. We're waiting for the book.
Yeah, come out.
Okay. So you've done very well. As I read your book on Sam Daddy and other things you've been writing. In fact, you've done very, very well. And I'm proud of you any day, anytime.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Okay. Delving back into politics. And I want to believe that, of course, that you are with hope. So, may I ask, what do you think about his performance in Imo State?
Well, the governor of Imo State, Senator Hope Uzodimma, has done excellently well. I would say excellently well. He's not one that is given to talking. He's not a media crazy guy, but he's doing a lot of work that many people maybe see, but they don't want to appreciate. If you watch very closely, he took over government immediately after, shortly after, there was NSAS. After that, there was COVID-19. After that, unknown government. And unknown government continued. It has continued up to today. But in that midst, he was determined to leave a legacy. Some other people would have caved in. After all, what's my own? After 4 years, he'll go. But he focused on his objective, and that his objective is a selfless giving to the society. So that's why he's able to build world-class road from Olu to Owerri, world-class road from Owerri to Okigwe. He's building a world-class road from Owerri to Umahia. And of course, within Owerri, he has been able to do so many things. Build 3 hospitals, brand new hospitals, well-equipped, well-furnished, Haji Egbema, in Oguta, East, using the oil derivative money very properly. And he has given this zero tolerance for corruption. You see him sanction some of his aides from his behaviors. And of course, many of them were locked up, some of them that infringed on things that are not normal. So he has done really well. We're talking about power. As I'm talking to you now, by the 3rd quarter of this year, the power generating capacity of Imo State will even supply power to the whole of Southeast. From Haji Egbema, Seplat is doing that, Shell is doing that, and the government is part of it. So all the noise, if he's a media person, he would have hyped everywhere. But nobody knows. But that's a capacity that is almost 10 times that of Aba. And enough to supply the whole of Southeast and give other states power. He's silently doing that. So there's a lot he's doing, that people don't know. But he's doing it. Of course, but you feel it, you can see it, you can work on it. Yes.
Okay, so to what extent are you involved in this present government?
Well, I've been very much involved. In the last dispensation, I was a special advisor on policy development. And during the elections, I was a campaign director, the DG campaign organization for all local governments. That's for the National Assembly elections. And of course, I was a coordinator for all local governments on the Guba elections.
Okay.
So I've been pretty in there, yes, directly in there.
But for someone who is, you say you've known him from 2002, right? Do you think that is enough to say that you are fully integrated into the system?
Well,
or do you think there should be more to it?
There is nothing more to anything. The truth is that when you serve, you wait for another opportunity to serve. And definitely another opportunity to serve will come. So it's never enough. It's never enough. Even at 80, Buhari came to serve. At 70, Tinubu came to serve. So it depends, and of course, that after Tinubu left government in 2003, he has never had any other thing except now that he became the president. So you can't have enough. As long as you desire to serve your community, desire to serve your people, it can never be enough. Yeah.
Okay. Let's go to your family. I know you have this very, very loving wife, and you love her so dearly. I want to know how do you manage to keep this love going all this while and it's still the same like yesterday? Well,
Well, I think first and foremost, every relationship must be based on friendship. If you marry your friend, you are happy forever. But if you marry for love, I don't know what people call love, then you have problems. Because love, the way people define it, the young ones define it, fades. You love her because she has brown eyes, straight legs, and all those kind of things. Those ones will fade over time. But friendship is something that's innate. It's things you don't see. The Bible says those things you see are perishable. Anything you see with your eyes are perishable, but those things you don't see are eternal. So if you see a straight leg will bend one day. If you marry a girl because she sings very well in church, one day the voice will crack. So, but if you now look for innate qualities, inside qualities, those are the things that last forever. So even at 100 years, those qualities will be there, the character will be there. So I think first and foremost, I married my friend. She understands me, I understand her. And it's just been like that. Basically, the thing there is communication. When we grew up to know that we don't have a voice. You understand? We don't have a voice then because there was no information. But in recent times, there's a lot of information. In fact, your children know more than you because information is just all over the place. So I cannot take you for granted because you say, this one small boy, I'm waiting, how old are you? No. The information people have now is huge, more than the information we had when we were growing up. So, as a father, you must strive to learn from your children in as much as you keep teaching them the ways you got to go. I'll give you an example. If your children love music, maybe hip hop, you don't shout them down. You try to learn what they're doing in hip hop. Do you understand me? So you try to learn. You try to learn some of their slangs. Because I tell you, if you read what they write in their slangs, you won't understand anything. So you need to understand what they're doing or what they're saying. So you need to talk to them, regular talking, directing them. Of course, punish them when the need arises. Because one of the problems is that many parents don't punish anymore. Punishment may not be physical. It may come in any other way. It may be deprivation. A child that says every day, hey, buy me credit, my credit is finished. Buy me. What is he or she doing with the credit every day? So some days you can say, nothing for you. So these days the conditions are different. When we grew up, we had no phone. Today, many children use phones to do assignments in class. So, and a lot of evil in the society makes it imperative for evil to flow into those phones, whether you like it or not. If you give your child a phone that's Android, forget it. Evil will flow into that phone. So you need to monitor it very well. Evil flows on your television every day. Even if you say, I'm watching Afrobeat, what's those music channels?
Yeah.
If you're watching them, you are just watching pornography. You're watching pornography from morning till night. So you might say, oh, this is harmless, they're just listening to music. But you need to control so many things until a certain age. So at the same time, you pray to God. Allow God to direct and help. Because most times you can do all the things you know in the textbook, but it doesn't work.
So what next? What next? What's the next chapter to your life? Now, what are we expecting from you in the future?
Well,
What is your goal?
for me, right now I'm still a community leader. I still participate in state affairs. I participate in my community affairs. Of course, I still run my business.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
Okay. That's amazing. Okay, cool. As someone who has been, in business sector and have matched banks, I've been able to collaborate with people to open banks and manage it and, run it. What would you say, is the challenges that the younger ones today is having in starting up their own business?
Well, when I talked earlier, I talked about the human factor. Basically, we are very individualistic, maybe in this part of the world. If you look at most thriving businesses or most established businesses that are running, they are collaborations from friends. Collaboration from friends. Look at Google, look at Facebook, and so many of them. Their friends came together and they had an idea and they pushed for it. Here, many people like to do things their own. People like to run solo so that at the end of the day, it's mine, it's my own. And it has not helped. One, we don't have sources of small and medium enterprise loans for startups. We don't have loans for startups. If we go to the bank, you discover that most of the loans are given to established names. They are given to established names. But if people come together, they can raise loans. Tell me what you do with your 10 friends on WhatsApp or in a forum of 20 people. 20 people can comfortably raise 1 million naira. I hope you know. But they prefer, the craze here now is, consumption. Ostentatious consumption is the bane of our youth. Everybody wants to go on designers, designer t-shirts, designer shoes, designer watches, designer necks, chains, designer cabs, designer phones. You see a youth carrying what do they call it, the Pro Max of 2 million naira or 1.5 million naira.
I may not even have up to
What
that in their
one mother came to me. She wanted to pay school fees for her daughter, not school fees, WAEC. And I looked at the girl. The girl was carrying a phone of about 200,000. And I asked her, "Do you know the cost of this phone? This phone is about 200,000. So you're looking for maybe 50 something thousand to pay for WAEC. You are not serious." So many of them like to consume, not knowing that if you buy a phone of 1 million naira today, the value goes down every day. If you buy a car of 50 million today, the value goes down. By next year, another brand will come out. Your own will become old model. So, have you watched most of those established people? Mark Zuckerberg doesn't wear a wristwatch. He doesn't wear a neck chain. He doesn't. In fact, his polo is the commonest of the polos. His jeans is the normal jeans. His canvas is the normal canvas. No, nothing like what do you call them? Designer. But this one,
So what of all those celebrities that have money that way?
we have seen part of our celebrities. We have seen them, that many of them, after all those bubu yaya, at the end of the day, they can't take care of themselves. They can't take care of themselves.
Sustainability.
So they can't sustain their lifestyles. Or their lifestyles are sustaining them. That at the end of the day, small elements, they run into problems. So that's what we have. So people are bent on misinforming people, giving wrong information, giving wrong impressions to show that, oh, na me. But the truth is that people who carry this load don't make noise. People who carry money don't make noise. Shebeke says empty drums make the most noise. If you throw it up, that's the noise it makes. But if you throw the one that has water inside, it just make boom. And that's the way it is. There are many multi-billionaires who don't make noise here, who wear simple dresses, and so on. In fact, the phone Zuckerberg uses is this touch phone. Anything he does it on his computer, laptop. Touch phone is not all this your Android. Yeah, touch. And I've seen many of them like that. Warren Buffett has lived in his house, the richest man in America, maybe has lived in his house since 1956. It's 3-bedroom, small bungalow. He still lives there. He's never changed. So those are the things. So most of our youths must learn to collaborate. And those are one of the things I teach my children. Collaboration is key. My son is a computer engineer. And one of the things I say, you are into cybersecurity, but find other people who are into other areas so that people collaborate and work out something that is good. And that's the best way to go. So because it can't be a web designer and then be a cybersecurity. No, some people are web designers, others are script writers, others are you are in cybersecurity. So integrate yourself with other people so that you can create something.
Just like we have here, right?
Exactly. So collaboration is key, and our youths are not saving money. They're not saving. Many of them still depend on my daddy, my mommy, and maybe we're spoiling them because we want to train them in school, see them to school, marry for them, do traditional wedding for them, do church wedding for them, buy them car, give them a house. If you have it, no problem. But I think it's making some of our youth lose it. It's making them lose it. People can come together and build a good capital. And of course, if people see good things you are doing, it's easier to support
Yes, true.
a group of 5 people. Banks can give loan to a society, a cooperative, than individual. Because they know that 5 of you cannot be evil at the same time.
True.
If you derail, this man will catch you. If you want to go, this man will say, no, be so. There must not be agreement among 5 people or 6 people. So let's learn to collaborate. Let's learn to work together. Let's learn to bring the best aspects of us and throw it on the table. And when you join all of them together, it becomes the mega thing we're looking at.
It was really amazing having you here. I decided to bring you here not just to interview you, but to show you where I am, to show you what I have done, and to show you that the boy that everybody said he was going to die is alive, and he's here, and then he's strong, and then he's waxing strong. And also to tell you that I love you so much.
Thank you.
And that you are always in my mind. Of course, you know that already. And I'm always here. The impact you have made in my life is one I cannot be able to finish talking about. Actually, I'm putting it in a book. But then I just want you to know that the reason for today's gathering is to see you, to hear from you, to learn from you, and to understand more about giving. Because sometimes when I think of how you give, it scares me. But yeah, I'm glad you spoke to us all, and we heard you.
Thank you so much. And they say, giver's hand will always be on top.
Yeah.
God does not forget
No, he doesn't.
those that extend
Indeed.
to other people.
Indeed.
So thank you very much. I'm happy. I'm glad to be here. Well, this is part of the collaboration we're talking about. I know that many of you here are different specialties.
Yes.
I can see the production man is here. I can see the
Video
technical people are here, and of course, you are the voice here. So together, it comes out fine.
Yes.
But if you want to do it on your own, you may not be able to put all these things together.
No.
If you want to do your own, you may not be able to put these things together. So, but this is the best way to go. This is the best way to go. If you bring business, this one bring business, it will grow. Even if now 1 naira gets from there, everybody will be happy and it will be continuous. But when we want to jump out, think it's green the other side, there's always a problem. Everything is fragmented, everybody's on their own, and there's a problem. So thank you very much for bringing me here. I'm honored to be here, and I think I still want to be part of what is going on.
Yes.
And I'll be happy. One of these days I'll read those books. I'm still expecting those books. I'm still expecting those books. And I'm happy. Thank you very much.
So thank you so much for watching this today's episode. It's not the normal episode that we do. This one is more personal, and just indulge me. I'm sure there is a whole lot for you to have learned from this messages that came out today. Aside from the familiarism and all that, I just want you to know that there is more to learn, and I'm sure you did learn. Thank you very much, and follow us, share, and keep tab on our next episode. Thank you so much.